Well, thank you. And first of all, I want to thank you, Hans, to invite me here. And I am very happy to present and to see all these people and all this story. Well, thanks again. So, what I want to speak today is to explain how, from statistics, we have been working on several problems, and we have seen that each problem is some kind of geometry, and we cannot plug immediately what was done in wavelet in Euclidean space. We have to think to the geometry. And at the end, we have tried to make a unified theory which explains that, in fact, we can build wavelet in a lot of geometric situations, but we have to forget Fourier transform, and the main tool would be the Laplacian. Or what would be the Laplacian? The Laplacian in geometry, and even in the more general situation. And we will try to explain that we can more or less catch everything of the classical framework in this new point of view. So, in fact, statistics and wavelet began in the 90s, and in fact, the main reason of why it works was due to the fact that wavelets catch completely functional space. A lot of functional space are completely described through the coefficient, and we use non-linear treatment of random variables and the thresholding. And gluing these 2 points, we were at this time able to build adaptive estimators. So this was the 90s. Then we have tried to look to some different problems. So I have no time to develop, but for instance, the weak cell problem, we have to focus on Jacobi polynomials, then in several problems on the sphere for the astrophysical purpose to use the spherical harmonics, and for deconvolution on the sphere, and also for tomography, which was perhaps the most difficult problem. And I will just explain very quickly, because I have no time for this, to explain how we have tried to build an adaptive estimator in this framework. But very quickly, what is the Radon transform? Everybody knows more or less that the Radon transform, you observe a function, let's say on a ball, you observe a function through slices. And you want to reconstruct the function through observations through the slice. In fact, you have a noisy, a typical inverse problem, we have a noisy observation of the function f through the Radon transform, plus, of course, as we are in a statistical framework, white noise. So for this problem, we look to the polynomial on the ball. For example, our object is a ball. We look to the polynomial. And you look to the orthogonal complement of polynomials of degree k-1 and the polynomial of degree k. And of course, L2 is the sum of this decomposition. And the main observation is, in fact, this space is exactly the eigenspace of the R star R. This is what's called the singular value decomposition of the Radon transform. So in this case, everything is known. So I don't want to develop, but everything is known for a long time. This is 19th century technology, and we have spherical power, Jacobi, etc. And everything is known. And what we have tried to build, the minimax adaptive estimator, is in fact to think to Littlewood-Paley decomposition and to mimic, in some sense, what was done in Euclidean framework. The fact that the problem was more difficult and the rate of convergence were very, very special, but in fact it was minimax. So the idea was, on all these problems, the estimator was built from some spectral decomposition using Jacobi, using Littlewood-Paley decomposition and sort of needlets, what was called needlet. And in fact, all this was done by people in this period, in the 2000s, Petrouchev, Yuan Xu, Feng Dai, Ward, Markovitch, Karasis, etc. And they have worked on Jacobi. They have worked on the ball. They have worked on the simplex, one by one. And each time there was a new technology. And at this time we were thinking that perhaps we can build a unified theory. And we have done this with Thierry Coulomb and Pencho Petrouchev. And the main idea was, okay, we have no Fourier transform. Let's focus on the Laplacian. Let's focus on an operator. So the idea was, in some sense, it's an old idea, that all the information is contained in the Laplacian. This is very well known. This is Atiyah-Singer if you want to be very... But the idea is functional space, geometry, all the topology is contained in the Laplacian. So is it possible to say, okay, wavelet also? And let's try to explain, we have proposed the framework of Dirichlet space, which is wider than geometry, classical Riemannian geometry. So you take a space with a measure, okay, and you take a self-adjoint positive operator, you have, of course, spectral decomposition, and you look to the self-adjoint contraction semigroup. This is abstract. Let's now be more concrete. We ask to have the Markov property. So in fact, this is a positive operator, and it's known from Berling-Denis that we can check this property, that the function, that the semigroup is positive. Then, in fact, the semigroup is actually a LP semigroup, not only L2. So we are going from L2 to LP, which is less abstract. Then, of course, you have gradient. Well, I have given this formula, I don't want to if the domain is contained in algebra great enough, you can give this formula. In fact, you have the fact that this operator is positive because it is equal to a positive integration of a positive function. Its gradient is classically the square of the gradient in geometry. And when you have this gradient, you can build a metric. This is a classical Riemannian metric in the framework of geometry. So from the gradient, you build a metric. And one of the properties you ask is that, in fact, this metric is complete and is compatible with the original one. So this is the general fact. Of course, you have the classical Laplace. I don't insist too much. The main point is that, in this case, the spectral projection is well known. This is a Shannon projector. And, for instance, let's take the Jacobi. If you look to Jacobi, you have an operator, which is you take a measure, which is given by the Jacobi weight on -1 + 1. You have the Laplacian in this framework, which is given by this formula. It's easy to see by integration by parts that you have here a gradient. The main point is that the distance associated is not the Euclidean distance, and the measure of the ball is not constant. It depends on the position. So you have some curvature. Now the semigroup is well known, the Jacobi, etc. Well, now, for instance, for the ball, for the tomography, now you have the operator is here. Well, you have to check it, but it is the eigenspace of this operator are given by polynomials. And you have, again, the distance associated to the gradient of this operator is not the Euclidean distance, but this distance, which has some curvature. So, what are the hypotheses? Now, real hypothesis, because for the moment we have just a Markov operator. Okay. What we ask, that first of all, we ask that the measure and the ball, the metric and the measure, are linked with the property of doubling. The fact that the double, when you take a ball with radius 2r, it is controlled by the ball of radius r with the same center up to some quantity which when we have sort of upper dimension. And the second point we ask for is Poincaré inequality. The variance of a function on a ball is controlled by the gradient. Now, if you have these two properties, which is in fact the important one, then you have the fact that the semigroup is in fact a kernel operator, and this kernel has a behavior which looks like to the Gaussian, which is here. So this is an important, this is a difficult theorem, which was done by a lot of people, which is linked by Nash, etc. So it's an important theorem, doubling property plus property of Poincaré is equivalent to the fact that the semigroup has a Gaussian behavior. Now, due to this, so you have a lot of examples where all this works. If you have Lie groups with the polynomial increment, you have a Riemannian manifold with positive Ricci curvature, and all important, you have a lot of situations when this works. Of course, there is some situation it doesn't work. For instance, semi-simple Lie groups, non-compact, it doesn't work. But okay, the main point is now that you have a functional calculus due to all these properties, that if you have even a function which is in C-infinity and compactly supported, the functional calculus, classical function calculus, theta of delta square root of L, is in fact given by a kernel. This kernel is regular and concentrated on the diagonal by this formula. Sorry, but the point, yes. So you have the fact that, and you have this scaling. When you put delta here, delta appear here and here. In some sense, you have the concentration here and the geometry here, because, in fact, of course, you have the link between geometry, which is, if you want, Ricci curvature, and the concentration on diagonal. So, if you have all this, you can now look to Shannon space, the fact what is a low-frequency function. Of course, for L2, low-frequency function is simple. You just look to the spectral space. But in fact, because of all this property, you can speak about low-frequency function of LP, and you can completely characterize this by property of the fact that it belongs to all the LM, to the iterated the domain of the iterated operator, and you have this property of entire function of T2 lambda. So you have, now we have spectral function. Now you can define distribution. The function belongs to S, just you use Laplacian instead of, you take the iterated of L. In fact, you can observe that using this definition, you catch exactly the classical case. Usually it's not given by this way in classical situation, but it's not difficult to observe that this definition fits. You can look to the dual, and you can look to Littlewood-Paley theory, which is just a decomposition of identity by function which is now not cat, but C infinity. And you take a decomposition of identity with C infinity function with localization of order 2 to the power g. Now, due to all the previous properties, you can decompose any distribution by the formula here. So you use here the functional calculus. This functional calculus, you know what are the estimates. And this converge. For instance, if you have a function in LP, it converges in LP. If it is okay, you have everything that you can ask for Littlewood-Paley decomposition and for distribution. Now you can use this Littlewood-Paley definition space to define Littlewood-Paley decomposition to define function space. The main point is that you can prove that you have several properties. So, for instance, you can use Littlewood-Paley to define Bezoff space, in some sense mimicking the usual definition, triple Lyserkin space. And one first observation is this definition of triple Lyserkin space is actually give you Sobolev space, which is something completely related to the operator, and even LP space for P between 1 and infinity, and for LP and for any S. So the space, the Sobolev space, which is in fact the space defined through the operator, could be be characterized by the decomposition on Littlewood-Paley. But the second main point is, in fact, the Sobolev, the Bezoff space previously defined are actually obtained through interpolation. You can prove that the interpolation between LP and Sobolev are the previous Bezoff. And something more, the Bezoff space is actually the space of good approximation by low-frequency function. Because you can prove that you have exactly Jackson and Bernstein property. So the interpolation space is also a space of approximation by low frequency. So you have for Bezoar space a definition through Littlewood-Pelley, through interpolation, or through good approximation, which is exactly a classical property of Bezoar space. And in fact, actually, these Bezoars are also for small s Lipschitz. So it is exactly what occurs. Now, what is important, perhaps, is now we have Shannon theory. We can have the two classical properties of Shannon, sampling and cubature, which means that, first of all, sorry, something is missing here. So you have to make a Shannon theory, we need to have discretization. So let's look to delta net. Delta net is point which are distance at least to delta. And maximal delta net is those we cannot add one point. If you use this delta net now, you have the sampling theory. Sampling theory means that, in fact, you can compute the LP norm by sampling if you are in a low frequency space. If you are in a Shannon space, a low frequency space with cut at lambda could be computed, the LP norm could be computed using a delta net with delta of order 1 over lambda. So if you have also a large spectrum, you have to sample very tight, which is obvious, and you have the cubature formula, Shannon formula if you want, for function which is integrable in the space of low frequency lambda. The integral can be computed by a Gauss formula if you want, Gauss cubature formula. So now, when you have a theory for which you have Littlewood-Pelley sampling and cubature, you can build wavelet. Just looking to the fact that by spectral theory you have the L2 norm computed through the Littlewood-Pelley decomposition, and now due to sampling, you can decompose this in wavelet using just this function phi of square root of L, taking the point of discretization as a central point. So you build this wavelet. And in fact, the previous formula proves that this phi xi are in fact frame if you take all of them. And this is not easy. You can build a dual frame. Now, using the main point is that in fact you can control everything more or less. You can control the LP norm of the wavelet. You can see that these wavelets are well concentrated again with geometry due to this part and concentration this part. And of course, because this wavelet is built through Littlewood-Pelley, spectrally localized. Now, you can now see that you can have a classical, what you want is the fact that your Bezoar and Tribble space could be characterized by a formula through the coefficient of the wavelet. So you have more or less the classical formula, and you have the characterization by wavelet of the Bezoar space. Well, this gives you a framework for theory. Let's say if you have some geometry, you can try to have a Littlewood-Pelley, you can have functional space defined through the operator, and you have wavelet. Now I will try to give you an application, just one because there is several. So first of all, in the compact case, in fact, it is equivalent to have diameter finite, measure finite, M compact. The spectral decomposition is discrete, and you can see that, in fact, the covering number could be computed by the integral of the measure of the of the measure of the ball of 6 square root of t. And so you have something which is rigid. Now I want just to give you an example how this can be used to think again about Brownian motion, for instance. And I want just to look to the regularity of Gaussian field. So I take a compact space, I take a probability space, and I look to some Gaussian process. Zx omega x is in the, M, x is M. And you look, now everybody knows that the law of this process is contained in the covariance kernel, because it's Gaussian. kxy, expectation of zx zy, is in fact a positive definite function, and we have associated negative definite function, which is given by expectation of zx minus zy square, which is given by this formula. Okay, this is classical. Now you can do the opposite. If you have a continuous definite positive kernel, then you have always a decomposition like this, using the spectral decomposition of the operator k, and you can build a process by this formula using a sequence of IID Gaussian variable, and you have here a process with covariance key. So covariance and Gaussian process are completely in duality. What I want to look to the regularity. Regularity is what? I want to see in the framework, previous framework, so we have an operator, we have Bezoff space, we have all this theory. Is it possible to say something about the fact that for almost all omega fixed, this is regular on X? So I want to see that I want to look to this thing. Is it possible to say something about X, the trajectory, almost all the trajectory, because, okay. So for instance, everybody knows that for the Brownian motion, almost all the trajectory are Lipschitz alpha for alpha less than 1/2. Is it possible to think of this completely from an analytical point of view? As all the information are contained in the kernel, is it possible to say something? So the idea is this. We look to kernel which is subordinate to the geometry. So what we want is the spectral decomposition of K is more or less the same of the operator, which in this case means that the kernel and the operator commute. So the Laplacian and the kernel commute. In this framework, we can give a formula for the process. And what is the theorem? The theorem is, in fact, is this. If you have a uniform control of kxy in y in the Bezoff norm, Bs, then the process is in B alpha infinity. Infinity was alpha less than S/2, which is exactly the classical Brownian result. But here we are in geometry. And so, in fact, if you have this formula, if your K is Lipschitz, S, then the process is Lip alpha with S/2. So let's give very quickly an example. You take the sphere. With this, you take the sphere, you take the Laplacian on the sphere, etc. Everything is well known. And I am looking to J. You have, of course, the SOD plus 1 which appeared on the sphere. And I am looking to, in fact, J invariant definite positive function. The J invariant definite positive function are completely known by the Schoenberg-Bingham theorem. This is all obtained through function of one variable on -1 plus 1, in which you put the scalar product of 2 points, because it is well known, I have been very quick, that the distance on the sphere is given by arc cosinus, the scalar product of the 2 points on the sphere. So, from the Schoenberg-Bingham result, it is completely known what are the functions which are definite positive and only depending on the distance. It is given by this formula. If one function is, it can be with a tailored development. So, for instance, let's take this function, 1/2 p over 2 arc cosinus. Your development is well known. It's obvious that you are in the Schoenberg-Bingham theorem. So the function is given by this formula. The associate is obviously Lipschitz S for S less than 1/2. And what you get is that you have expectation of Z psi d minus Z psi eta is the distance. This is exactly the Brownian, the property of the Brownian, but we are now on a sphere. So we are a Brownian process on the sphere with the same property, but now it's not a process in one variable, it's a process on all the sphere. And this process is Lip alpha with alpha strictly less than 1/2. Of course, you can go to fractional Brownian motion now, but I don't think that I have enough time to develop the Brownian. So the main message is this: that if a lot of problem, you have a geometry which is under the problem. If you understand the geometry, Then you can try to understand the little root palette theory, you can try to understand base of space, and you have wavelet, and with this, you can treat a lot of problems. For instance, this problem on probability, but there is a lot of other problems. And for instance, we use this to have Bayesian study, Bayesian statistic on manifolds. Okay, so I'm sorry to perhaps have taken too much time, but this is the message, sorry.